Okay, it's Green Bay Wacky. Man, this is hysterical. I just watched, look, I'm sorry. I just watched Joe Biden's speech. I never done this before. I'm going to link his video in this description. It's a YouTube video, so I'm not taking you off the site, so apps shouldn't be any problem with that. It's the most ridiculous speech I've ever heard in my life. Joe Biden is living on planet Mars. I've come to that conclusion. Democrats, you get the laughter meter. I would be extremely scared of your candidate right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, let's get into it. I had to make a note, notes. I had to rewrite them. There's so many. It's beyond belief I can't even believe what I just heard. We're in a country right now that is supposedly in the middle of a epidemic. States are locked down. Businesses are going out of business. People don't have food. People don't have homes. Millions of people are unemployed. And this is what Joe Biden puts out for his presidential speech this is how he's going to fix the country. It's unbelievable. It's beyond belief. Here, I'll give you this is just my opinion. I'm not a political analyst for a living, but I am a United States American citizen, and I've got some opinions. Okay, let's get started. Stay with me for this video. Tell me if you made it through my commentary. I'll find out if I should do this again in the future. Tell me when you bowed out and left, but I'll see the analytics in YouTube. Okay, he starts off slamming Trump about his COVID response, and he's slamming Trump about, he finally wore a mask. He's making fun of Trump that he's never worn a mask. Now, note this during this whole speech. He's not wearing a mask, and he's coughing. No lie. You'll see it for yourself. And notice this, too, and I'm really concerned about this. There are polls out. You can Google this. A lot of people think that Joe Biden might seriously have dementia or some type of a stroke condition or something. Now, I'm not making that up. That you can go to Google. Even Democrats are saying, yeah, it's quite possible. So he slams Trump for his COVID response. He offers no hope, any plan out of how to get the country going again. And here's what he goes into. Unbelievable. He says to Trump, quit pushing the false choice between protecting our health and protecting our economy. Right? But then he's got this whole thing of how he's going to jumpstart the economy. No plan of how he's going to get states reopened up, how he's going to get people back in school, kids, how he's going to, it's ridiculous. Remember, suicides, abuse, drug use, all this is up because of all these lockdowns. Our whole United States of America is falling down. And let me tell you what's on Joe Biden's mind. It's unbelievable. We can't deal with the economic crisis inflicted on small businesses and community of color. He actually said that. What about me? I'm not a community of color. I can't freaking barely pay my bills. Can you? Can you? I can't believe he even said that. I can't even believe he said that. Small businesses and communities of color. Unbelievable. Not Americans. Not all the Americans that are, I have friends that are suffering. I have friends that I talk to every day that are suffering. And we never got our stimulus checks. I didn't get one. Did you? Which would put us in debt more anyway. But anyway, I can't believe he said that. Now, this gets more bizarre and insane. I'm talking insane. Now, he's going to create millions of jobs by rebuilding our infrastructure. So he's talking about our infrastructure. He actually says this. 10,000 bridges. And then he goes, well, tens of thousands, corrects himself, of bridges. He goes on about bridges being in such disrepair. Our country is falling apart, not bridges, because everyone's out of work. Small businesses, mom and pop places are closing up. They are not getting the small business loans like the mainstream media narrative wanted to push. He goes on about bridges. He goes on about we're going to create new jobs by cleaning up environmental hazards. What? Are you kidding me? He talks about environmental damage has most affected Black and brown communities. He goes on about environmental damage. This is insane. We're in a crisis right now. We're in a crisis. This is what it gets more. You're not going to believe this. It gets crazier and crazier. He goes on to talk about polluted air and water, and he says that the people that are most affected, right? He says, he talks about those in the last century, and they're the ones that are going to benefit. Climate crisis is the threat to our planet. He goes on about climate crisis. We're in the middle of a meltdown in the United States of America. He goes on to say he's going to create new jobs. This is by creating charging stations all across America for electric cars. That's how he's going to put America back to work. We're going to make charging stations for electric cars, which will save us money on gasoline. Now, forget, where does that electricity come from? Coal-fueled power plants? It's anyway, this is so bizarre. He goes on, I kid you not. He goes on a rant about LED lights, that Trump is an evil person. Maybe he didn't say evil, because Trump was quoted as saying, they make me look orange, so I don't like them. So he's going to make over 4 million buildings to upgrade to LED lights and low-cost financing and rebates for our homes to upgrade our lights. I can't pay my bills, Joe. My friends can't pay my bills. He goes on saying he's going to convert government fleet cars to electric. This is all to create jobs, charging stations. He goes on about us Americans switching our cars to electric cars, swapping them out. How the hell could I afford an electric car? I can't even pay my bills. You're going to give me it free? This is so bizarre. I can't even believe what I was hearing. I was in shock. I'm not kidding. I was in shock. And the whole time he's talking about the electric cars, he's talking about how he's going to build up the auto industry and that's going to create jobs. What does that have to do with me? I don't have any auto industry factories around me. Do you? He says farmers are going to have to get more creative and they're going to have to be less vulnerable to fires and floods. This is the most bizarrest speech I have ever heard in my life. And this is so amazing. He says, he's talking about Trump denying reality. And he goes on about Trump stuck in the old technology. The new technology is how we're going to excel. And he says, never bet against the American people. Actually, he says, it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people. And it says, American workers can accomplish, he goes on to say, that what American workers can accomplish when given room to run. How can they even run, Joe? They're all freaking locked down. You know what this sounds like to me? The end of small businesses in America, and he wants to put everyone to work, working at factories. It sounds like labor jobs like I used to when I was 16, working on assembly lines. He says, we're in a meltdown. You know, you're talking about the president of the United States, you know, the election's in 111 days. And so we're still locked down in many states, many restrictions. Everyone's walking around in masks. We got this epidemic raging. And here's what he's going to do the first day in office. While we sit here with no money to pay our bills, everyone's been affected. I've been affected. My goodness. The first day, here's what he's going to do. I'm going to roll back Trump's public health and environmental rules. And he goes on to say we only have 9 years left with the climate condition, or it's irreversible. So here you have it. Joe Biden slamming Trump for his lack of COVID response. And then he makes fun of him for finally just wearing a mask while he sits with no mask coughing. And the ways it's the most bizarrest speech I have ever heard. He's going to start making electric cars and charging stations and giving homeowners cash rebates and small affordable loans to upgrade your house to LED lights. And this is how he's going to save America. Most insane presidential speech I have ever heard in my life. You got to watch it to believe it. You got to watch it to believe it. It is so unbelievable. This man, Joe, I'm sorry, you are not in touch with the American people, what we have going on. And thanks, by the way, for addressing other Americans other than black and brown people, which is all you said in your speech. Thanks for addressing the rest of America, right? Unbelievable. I can't even believe this. Watch it for yourself. I'll link it in the description. You're going to gasp. You will gasp. If Democrats, if this is your front man, you should be worried. You know what? It's like that movie. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Most bizarre, unbelievable, insane speech I've ever heard in my life. Unbelievable. This Green Bay Wacky, I just report it. You decide. Make your own opinion. Go watch the speech. It's only 22 minutes long. You will gasp. Tell me what you think of it in the comments.